Hello everybody, welcome along to another edition of Path to the Pinnacles as we build up to day number 4 of the inaugural Pinnacles. It is Drummond Golf Northerly Stakes Day that awaits us. My name is Tim Walker. Joining me today, we've got our experts Taylor Courtland and Digby Beecham. Firstly to you, TC. How are you feeling ahead of day number 4 of the Pinnacles?
Oh, the ego's got a little bit of a boost, expert, using that term very loosely, especially with the man sort of sitting across the desk from me.
Well,
struggling to really get warm, it's fair to say.
Well, you are warm at the moment. Warm-ish.
Oh, warmer than you two.
Yes. We go to freezing. Hello, Digby.
Oh, yes. It's been a hard slog throughout the Pinnacles finding winners that you are making money on, Tim. As I say, hello to you, TC. Great to have day 4. Drummond Golf, Northerly Stakes, the feature. The final Group 1 of the Australian calendar year, and I cannot wait for it. I think it's a fascinating edition.
Well, let's not waste any time. 2 races to work through. The first of them is the feature, the Group 1 1800 metre weight for age Drummond Golf Northerly Stakes, and we'll have a look at the market as it stands. The Blue Army, they took out the Winterbottom last week. Punters are expecting that they'll have more Group 1 glory here with Cascadian, $2.90, $3.20 Amelia's Jewel, Bustler at $9.50, Treasured Star $11, $13 Tricks of the Trade, and Alaskan God with Steinem at $14. Everything else in the field, $34 and upwards. TC, the speed map, and I stress the word speed. Where is it? What is it? What does it look like?
A lot of people's guess will be as good as mine here with the speed map, but probably Steinem lands somewhere close to leading. Bustler, I think, is a little bit of an X factor when it comes to the speed map. He's likely to possibly push forward. Treasured Star and Amelia's Jewel drawn barriers 4 and 1 respectively. They'll land probably in the second pair, I think. Amelia's Jewel on the back of the leader. Then after that, it's a little bit of a shuffle. The other key runner, Cascadian, I think the best he can hope for is midfield 3 wide with cover. He's probably a little bit worse than midfield 3 deep with cover.
All right, well, let's get stuck into our key contenders here. And the one that you mentioned there, lastly, TC, was Cascadian. He's got the world's best jockey aboard. James McDonald comes to Perth for a hit-and-run mission. Barrier number 12 comes in one with the scratching of last of the line. This is a serious weight-for-age animal. One of the best 5 or 6 in the country, I would have thought.
Absolutely. The map, as we've just gone through, I think that's the biggest issue. He needs a fair bit of luck, I think. He needs the right toe into the race. If there's an unexpected horse that likes to push forward, inject some speed into the race, that'll obviously help him, but there's no knocking his form. You go back through his form, the Champions Mile last start, he was beaten less than 2 lengths by Alligator Blood. That's world-class form. If you go back, he was a winner of a Group 2 Hill Stakes, a Group 3 Craven Plate, both at Randwick prior to that, albeit on a heavy 8 and soft 7 respectively. He'll hit Ascot on the back of 2 30-degree days this week on a probably borderline good 3. It's going to be pretty firm out there at Ascot on Saturday. It's going to take one of James McDonald's best, I think.
Certainly is, TC. Look, I think he's probably a starting point because there's not so many unknowns with him. Maybe the one unknown is how will he get around Ascot. You look at his form at Randwick and Flemington, 2 big, spacious tracks where he can wind up. That's been when he's been lethal. He has decent enough good track form. This is going to be interesting to see what this track presents like by the time they jump here, just before 5 o'clock after a week of warm weather, as TC quite rightly mentions. I think it'll be in that, well, it might still be rated a 4, but it'll probably be in that 3 range. Who knows? It could even be a little bit slicker than that. So he's a watch under those conditions, but if he goes there and is the best version of himself and he has no bad luck, it wouldn't be a shock at all to see him win and win well.
Well, since 2015, Perfect Reflection, KC and Arcadia Queen have all been 3-year-old fillies to win the Drummond Golf Northerly Stakes. And Diggers this year, Amelia's Jewel will be looking to add her name to that list.
And she'll get a lot of favours from that gate. Again, they're not going to hack here, you wouldn't think, TC, because it is a Group 1 worth $1.5 million. How often do we say, oh, there's not much speed, and invariably there's good tempo? Either way, she's going to either box seat or be 3 back the fence. And then if that is indeed the case, she's probably going to be considerably further in front of a Cascadian, 3, 4, 5 lengths maybe. And then he's going to have to run her down with 9 kilos more. If she gets clean air, if buts, maybes, she's going to be very, very difficult to run down given her turn of foot.
Yeah, absolutely. She finished off her final 200 metres in the WA Guineas last start. She almost broke 11 seconds. She was absolutely smashing the line. Absolutely loved that over the 1,600 metres. And the Guineas, the final 600 metres, it was a lower pressure race than the railway on the same day, but they came home pretty quickly. So for her to smash the line like that, really impressive. If she's 3 back the fence, I'll have my heart in my mouth, but she'll be on top for me. The 9 kilos and her turn of foot, I think that's going to be a massive key part of the race.
Well, a horse that was beaten just over half a length by Amelia's Jewel was Bustler in the WA Guineas. He's $9.50. Amelia's Jewel $3.20. Is there too much between these two in the market, Diggers?
Well, you could look, if you believe that Bustler is capable of winning this race and is going to be suited over 1,800, you would say yes. The fact that she had his back, but she did also pull away from Bustler over the concluding stages of the WA Guineas, gives me an indication that she is deserving of her quote, and he's probably deserving of his quote, to be fair, even though they might opt to be positive here, TC.
I hope they are positive, because it might get a little bit sticky for Steve if they do try and ride Bustler a little bit neutral. Whether or not he's a horse that you can give a little dig out of the gates and he's still going to race kindly, I'm not too sure, but I'd love to see him up on speed somewhere, really use that 52 kilos, because I think the 3-year-olds in WA this season, I think they're very much above average.
Well, a horse that showed that he was above average in the Railway Stakes on the second day of the Pinnacles was Tricks of the Trade. He's the Railway Stakes winner. He's $13 here. Can he overcome the wide draw, TC?
Oh, dear me. I don't think so. Looks a sticky race. When we always talk about sticky races, maybe 3 wide with cover, that might be the spot to be. He has a turn of foot to get himself out of a lot of trouble. How much is he giving up in terms of lengths behind a Bustler and Amelia's Jewel? He's probably going to have to give up a couple of lengths to Cascadian as well and run past him at weight for age. Whether or not he can do that, I'm not sure. I think the price is probably fair.
Look for him to be flashing late. He's a proven weight carrier. Again, he does get to weight for age, but it's hard to forget that he carried 61 first up this campaign and flashed late, didn't he, on that occasion? He's been outstanding all the way through his career, not just this campaign, and he's going probably career best, so take him on at your own peril, I would have thought.
All right, well, there's 4 of the key contenders. There's honourable mentions to Alaskan God, Treasured Star, also Steinem, who comes over here from the East Coast. But we need to get some sort of an idea what your numbers are, gents. So, TC, you can start off.
16, 14, 15 and 1. Amelia's Jewel on top for mine. I think she gets a beautiful run. She'll need a little bit of luck at the key stage, but even if she doesn't get much luck, 50 kilos on her back, she's got to turn a foot to get herself out of a little bit of trouble. Treasured Star in for second. I thought she was enormous in the Railway Stakes. She's probably going to land in the 1-1 position from there. She'll get every possible chance. 15 Bustler and then 1 Cascadian, just a sticky map. And how much is he going to have to do with 400 to go is my sticking point.
16 Amelia's Jewel from 1 Cascadian, 14 Treasured Star and 10 Tricks of the Trade. Treasured Star intrigues me here. She gets 2 kilos weight swing on Tricks of the Trade. She gets a favourable draw as opposed to him, and had she had an uninterrupted run in the straight and the Railway Stakes, I think she runs top 3. She's a live hope on Saturday.
All right, well, that is a look at the Drummond Golf Northerly Stakes. For what it's worth, I like the Blue Army up the top. I like Cascadian to take out the Group 1 feature. Let's have a look at our other feature on the day. This is the Ascent Trophies Jungle Dawn Classic, the second leg of the Mares Series. This is over the 1,400 metres. And we look at the market here. Vain Tempest is the $4.80 favourite. Been some good support here. Ginger Flyer, $5. Real Grace, $5. Sentimental Queen's back at the races at $5.50. $6.50 Bazoom. $10 and upwards the rest. Really intriguing race, this one, gents. To the speed map we go, TC.
I thought Express Time probably finds the top. Ginger Flyer comes out positively. Pat's got Sass even wider. I don't think there's much choice, but they need to probably push forward, was my thinking. Therefore, Ginger Flyer probably lands in the 1-1, lands outside Express Time, lets the speed come across, and Pat's got Sass, provides a little bit of cover. Sentimental Queen's got enough speed to hold up on the back of the leader, and then probably your next pair, Real Grace and Vain Tempest, the rest of the field going back. I think there'll be enough early burn to create a decent enough tempo.
I agree with that.
All right, well, let's profile 4 of the key contenders here. And the first one that we'll have a look at is Vain Tempest. At the top of the market, was 6th in the Jungle Mist Classic. We know has been knocking on the door of some black type success, both in that race and also the Northerly Stakes earlier on this year. Can Vain Tempest break through and become a black type winner on the weekend, TC?
Absolutely, she can. Shout out to Ike. His team's going absolutely enormous. She's going superbly well. If we go back 4 starts ago, was beaten less than 2 lengths Resort Man. Resort Man's been massive in a railway stakes. 2 starts ago, second against Hot Z when she didn't have too much luck and the track pattern was against her on that day. Similar last time, she was able to reel off the best final 6 400 and 200 metre splits of that race in the Jungle Mist on a day. Well, it wasn't so much the day. I think the race was just run that race. They controlled it up top, was sprinted around the corner, and you couldn't really make ground. The way the race was run, I thought she was superb. She's going to sit closer to the speed. She hasn't won beyond 1,300 metres, but she probably hasn't gone any better.
Agree with that. Had a couple of spins at 1,400 metres and has been unsuccessful, but she looks like she's going to get a lovely run. And again, we don't know for sure, but if she gets the map we think she gets, she's going to have the back of the right horse and she's going to be within 2 or 3 lengths turning for home. And then it's up to Chris to navigate the right path.
Well, Ginger Flyer had a dine out at the back end of the Belmont Park season, got a couple of $100,000 wins on the board and has the number 1 saddlecloth this weekend. We know that Simon Miller won the race last year with Angelic Miss. Can Ginger Flyer do it again for the Miller stable this year, Diggers?
Well, she's had a couple of trials to get her ready, and I believe the screws have been tightened since the second one, so she'll go there fit and well and is a very capable mare. I think she needs to elevate what she did in the winter, but she is going to get a lovely run and she needs to be respected because she has proven previously that she's tough, she can ride the speed, and she's a winner, TC.
I would agree with you that she needs to elevate, but it's not the strongest Jungle Dawn Classic. So if you said Ginger Flyer in the winter's going to go to a Jungle Dawn, I would have, I'm not too sure, but this is probably as good a race as she could have hoped for her winning chances. I was keen to sort of be half against her, but the map and run that we think she's going to get is going to give her every possible chance.
All right, Real Grace hit the line powerfully in the 1,200 metres of the Jungle Mist Classic. Finished 4th on that occasion behind Snipperucci. W. Pike aboard. We know that these colours have been very prolific in this race. You go back to Silver Stream and Celebrity Dream as well back in the days of the late 2010s. How do we see this playing out for her this weekend, gents? Is she hard to beat, Real Grace?
Well, the market, certainly when it went up with Tab Touch yesterday, I believe she was $3.50 and favourite. So she's got the blows. It'll be interesting to see what price she does start, TC. I could not get her anywhere near that quote. She's now, as we sit here today, at $5. Pike, Durant, the Cerise and White. It's a pretty lethal combination. We know that. So there's going to be that generic support. But I wouldn't be surprised if she starts even longer than what she is now.
I've marked her even longer. I was surprised she went up favourites. I'd argue also hitting the line powerfully. I'm not sure she exactly smashed the line over the 1,200. Is she looking for 14? I'm not super convinced about that. I was happy to be against her. I thought maybe you might even get close to $8.
All right, let's not forget Michael Grantham as well. Of course, you get your reals right, Diggers. It was Real Danger for Adam Durant, Real Grace for Michael Grantham, yes. So, well, either way, she's going to be right there. Very prolific on the weekend for sure. Sentimental Queen, first up here, Diggers Cup winner, 1,800 metres, went to the Eurythmic Stakes after that, finished 5th, 1,400 metres here first up. Why not, TC?
A massive why not for me. I like Sentimental Queen in this race. Drawn 1, fingers crossed that might be the right place to be there on Saturday at Ascot. First up last preparation, she ran in the 72 plus over the 1,400 metres, ran second on that occasion to Billy Ain't Silly. Billy Ain't Silly was really well thought of throughout the Pinnacles, 4th in that race, Resort Man. So that form stands up. She's had 2 trials. I think she's wound up ready to go first up as well for Hayden Ballantyne. I think she's a massive hope. That most recent trial was outstanding.
It was, and she'll tag the speed. She lobs in a perfect spot, and if the rail is a good spot to be, well, she's going to be very, very popular come Saturday.
All right, there are 4 key chances. Let's get a little idea on what your numbers look like a couple of days out, gents.
Diggers?
I am 6 Vain Tempest from 4 Sentimental Queen, 1 Ginger Flyer, and 9 Real Grace.
Just flip around that quinella for me. 4, 6, 1, and 9. But I think I'll be betting Sentimental Queen and Vain Tempest.
All right, that's as intriguing a Jungle Dawn as we've had for a long time. All right, this is the $100 strategy time. This is the time where we see if we can make some money, and in the case of Diggers and I, try and bridge the gap that there is to TC.
You're a funny man, Tim.
Well, it doesn't stop us trying, Diggers.
No, God loves a try, Tim.
Exactly
and that's what
right.
we will do here this morning. I am going to bet in the Jungle Dawn Classic. That is the way I'm going. And the prices that you're currently getting, Vain Tempest and also Sentimental Queen, will enable me to have $50 on each to win, and you can still make a profit. So that is the way I'm going. $50 Vain Tempest, $50 Sentimental Queen.
All right. Well, I'm going to have my 100 straight out on Cascadian to try and bridge the gap. So over to you, TC.
Oh, I'll have $50 on the filly in the Northerly, Amelia's Jewel, and I'll have $50 on Sentimental Queen.
All right. Well, it's day 4 of the Pinnacles. We'll be back next week, day number 5, the Gold Rush. We might very well be saving the best for last, and we'll also have a look at the Towton Cup next week over the 2,200 metres on path to the Pinnacles. Good luck if you're having a bet this week. Do it responsibly. Do it with Tab Touch. We'll catch you next week.
Join Tim Walker and Digby Beecham on the Sports Daily each weekday morning from 5:30.